Hi everyone, my name's Katie Connor and I am a career coach with the dual enrollment program here at Cape Fear Community College. I am going to present an information session on the Career and College Promise program. Career and College Promise is a statewide program that allows qualifying high school students to enroll in structured pathways and take community college courses tuition free. The CCP program is open to high school juniors and seniors who have an unweighted GPA of 2.8 or higher, or who demonstrate college readiness on approved assessments such as SAT and ACT exams. If interested, students can qualify with under a 2.8 unweighted GPA if they obtain a GPA waiver with the recommendation of their high school counselor. The CCP program offers 9 college transfer pathways and roughly 60 career and technical education pathways for students. While this program is tuition free, because tuition is waived by the state, students are responsible for fees and textbooks each semester they are registered for courses. What I'm going to start out with now is telling you all a bit about the pathways. Pathways are clusters of available CFCC courses that students can sign up for via dual enrollment. They act as guides that help students stay on track for their educational or career goals for after high school. As I mentioned, there are a few different types of pathways available to students, which I'll be reviewing with you today. The first type are college transfer pathways, which allows students to earn college transfer credits that will transfer to four-year colleges. There are also career and technical education pathways, which allow students to gain career training in a wide number of fields and earn them credits towards a CFCC certificate, diploma, or associates in applied science degree. Finally, the third type of pathway is called an economic and workforce development pathway, which allows students short-term training programs to award them a workforce credential. I like to think of pathways as an appetizer before the main entree. For example, in a college transfer pathway, students get access to about 30 to 32 credits, which is about half of a full associate's degree. I'm going to talk now first about the college transfer pathways available to duly enrolled students. You'll see on the screen here there are 9 different college transfer pathways available to students. These are designed to align with the North Carolina college transfer degrees that are offered at Cape Fear Community College and all other community colleges across the state. The first 2 listed here, the Associate in Arts and Associate in Science pathways, are the most popular pathways for student in dual enrollment, and I'll explain why later on in this presentation. The vast majority of college majors are going to fall within an Associate in Arts or Associate in Science pathway. You'll also see listed an Associate in General Education Nursing pathway, which aligns with CFCC's nursing program requirements, as well as many other nursing program requirements across the state. There's also an Associate in Engineering college transfer pathway, though do note that students have to be calculus eligible to enter into that pathway. You'll also notice 3 fine arts pathways in visual arts, music, and theater. And finally, 2 teacher preparation pathways. The intent with these pathways is to knock out general education courses such as English, math, science, social studies, and occasionally a couple other program-specific electives or program requirements. One of my duties as a career coach is to help students understand their career and major interests and help them figure out which pathway is the most appropriate for them. For those of you who are thinking about pursuing a college transfer pathway, I want to share some information with you about a policy called the Comprehensive Articulation Agreement. The Comprehensive Articulation Agreement, also known as the CAA, is a statewide agreement that governs the transferability of credits between North Carolina community colleges and North Carolina public universities. Its objective is to provide a very smooth transfer process for students. The CAA provides a few guarantees to transfer students that I want you to know if you're pursuing a transfer pathway in dual enrollment. First of all, This agreement states that all classes you take as a CCP student in a college transfer pathway will transfer to all of the North Carolina public universities if you receive a C or higher. Again, right now I'm speaking to the college transfer pathways, not yet the career and technical education pathways. You'll also see here that part of the CAA allows students to transfer seamlessly with junior status if they obtain a full associate's degree in arts or science. By no means do most or all CCP students complete a full degree. More often, they're taking advantage of the program to take a few courses or half of a degree. But do understand that a student with intentional planning can often complete a full associate's degree while in this program, and that shaves off half of their college degree while taking advantage of tuition-free dual enrollment. Another guarantee of the CAA is that courses in the college transfer pathways receive 5-point weight in the high school GPA. In other words, they receive 1 additional quality point weight, just like an AP course would. Now note that I said public universities apply to the CAA policy. These are the 15 that I'm referring to listed on this screen. If a student is looking at any private North Carolina colleges or public out-of-state universities, the CAA does not apply to those schools, meaning that the transferability of credit is not guaranteed in the same way that it is with these public universities listed on screen. For example, if I have a student intending to enroll at UNCW and they take English 111 at Cape Fear, I can tell them with 100% certainty that that will transfer to UNCW as English 101. Or if they want to take Psych 150 at CFCC, I can guarantee them that that transfers in as Psych 105 at UNCW. For anyone looking at private colleges or public out-of-state colleges, they would need to contact each individual institution to inquire about the transferability of specific community college courses. The last thing I want to touch on for students considering a college transfer pathway is something called a baccalaureate degree plan, and we call these BDPs for short. BDPs are documents that are designed for every single major at every single public North Carolina university. And they are meant to provide a very seamless transfer process to help you choose the appropriate associate degree program and the appropriate coursework while at the community college. They will lay out a suggested schedule of coursework, and they'll also lay out any required courses for that major that the university wants you to complete at the community college prior to transferring. I'm going to show you an example of a BDP so that this makes a little bit more sense. As career coaches, we use BDPs to help students understand which pathway they need, which future degree they need, and which courses they would be advised to take through dual enrollment to get them closer to their academic and career goals. On this example of a BDP here, you'll notice a couple things. The first is that it is advising students to pursue an AA degree in order to transfer into a business major at UNCW. Because of this, we would advise a student who's intending on majoring in business at UNCW to be in an associate in arts pathway. The second thing you'll notice here is the 2 columns at the bottom that are showing you which courses they want the student to take at the community college, as well as what course that will transfer in as at UNCW. Now, I'm not explaining all of this because we expect you to do this on your own as a student. We encourage you to consult with your career coach so that we can give you guidance on these BDPs and also give you recommendations on how to plan these courses and in which order to plan them. For those of you who may be undecided as to what your major and university goals are, career coaches can also help you pull a few of these plans and cross-compare and still pick coursework strategically and intentionally. I'm going to transition now and share a bit about the career and technical education pathways available to students through dual enrollment. CTE pathways provide incredible opportunities for students who want to explore career options through dual enrollment, especially for students who don't necessarily need or want to pursue a 4-year college degree. On the screen listed here, you'll see the list of many of the different CTE pathway options. Now, you may be the type of student that doesn't know which careers you're interested in, and in that case, these pathways may be a great opportunity for you to explore different career options while still in high school. Or you may know which career you want to go into and can get a head start on obtaining those credits through dual enrollment. There is not one size fits all for the CCP program and for any of these pathways, so we encourage you to talk with us further to see how you can explore these to take advantage of the dual enrollment program while still in high school. A big difference with the CTE pathways compared to the college transfer pathways is that the vast majority of credits in these pathways do not transfer to four-year universities. Rather, they will give students credits towards a certificate, a diploma, or an associate in applied science program at the college. An AAS, or an associate in applied science, is an associate's degree, but please note that it is not a college transfer degree, and that does not apply to the CAA agreement that we discussed earlier regarding the transferability of courses. The second thing we want you to know about CTE pathways is that many of them follow a block schedule and must be started in the fall semester. A block schedule is a prescribed schedule of courses for certain programs in which courses are only offered in certain semesters. The easiest way to explain this is to show you an example. I'm going to refer to the example on the right here for the welding technology pathway. For example, the bottom of that pathway, you'll see that welding 115 is listed in the fall semester. That is because that class is only taught in the fall semester, meaning that if a student does not register for it in the fall, they would not be able to take it in the future until the following fall semester. And as you can imagine, dually enrolled students are only eligible junior and senior year, so this can cause high-stakes scheduling decisions for them. Now, not only is welding 115 only taught in the fall, it is also a prerequisite course for welding 116, which is only taught in the spring semester. So, for this reason, if a student were not to take welding 115 in the fall, they're also eliminating the option to take a welding spring course in their schedule. That's one example of why block scheduling can be really important to follow in the CTE pathways. It's also advantageous to register in a timely manner because even if you do apply and intend to start in the fall, you may be interested in a pathway in which classes fill up quickly. Welding is another classic example of this. Every pathway is a little bit different, so if you have questions about the scheduling options, we encourage you to reach out to someone on our team to discuss this further. The third and final type of pathway is called an economic and workforce development pathway. And these are similar to the CTE pathways, but the difference is that these provide short-term training opportunities to receive an industry credential. For example, a student can enroll in the nurse aid pathway, obtain their CNA license, and immediately enter the workforce as a CNA. With these pathways, you're not going to walk across the stage because you're not graduating with a certificate or diploma or associate's degree, but you are completing the pathway and immediately receiving that workforce credential. The registration and application processes for these pathways look a little bit different than the college transfer pathways and CTE pathways. So if you have questions about these options, please let someone on our team know, and we can refer you to the individual program directors and staff for these programs. Now that I've explained a bit about the three pathway options, I'm going to transition into talking about some of the logistics of the CCP program, starting with pathway compliance. State operating procedures for the CCP program require students to only take classes within their pathway. Again, this is because pathways are structured subsets of courses that are built specifically for dually enrolled students in order to get access to that career and major interest while also taking very intentional introductory courses. The easiest way to explain pathway compliance will be to use this example on the left. You'll see on the left here a snapshot of a college transfer pathway, which shows students a few categories in their pathway, such as English, humanities or fine arts, or social behavioral science. It also shows them the courses and the amount of credits they can take within each section. For social behavioral sciences, they're allowed to take up to 3 courses in this section. So if a student takes microeconomics, macroeconomics, and government, they would have completed that section of the pathway. This means they can't go back and take a 4th course in this section because they've already maxed out that section of the pathway. This is why it's important for students to know which pathway they're selecting and what their goals are for being in the program. This tends to eliminate the issue of wanting to register for courses outside of the pathway. Another reason we bring this up is because we want to help students align their academic and career goals with their course requirements. For example, an intended business student would be required to take micro and macroeconomics. If they were to take 3 other courses in the social behavioral science and then want to take micro and macroeconomics, they would not be able to do so because of pathway restrictions. Now, I do want to reiterate that a pathway itself is not a full associate's degree. However, if a student completes a full pathway, the state allows them to take more courses towards a full associate's degree, which is about 60 to 61 credits. Something I haven't mentioned yet is your option for multiple pathways. Students can enroll in 1 or 2 pathways. The state allows students to enroll in 1 college transfer pathway at a time. Aside from that, any combination of pathways is allowed. We do allow pathway changes in the program, which is often relevant when students pivot in their career or academic interests. You may be wondering, why would I add a 2nd pathway? The intent of this generally is that students may want to take classes to help them explore multiple careers. As a tuition-free program, it is a low-cost way to explore career options and avoid the delay of degree completion, especially for students who want to obtain an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. Another potential reason 2 pathways may be relevant is for students who are interested in a career where getting access to 2 types of curriculum may help them. For example, we often have students in the college transfer nursing pathway and the CNA pathway. We may have students in the cosmetology pathway and the business pathway, with a goal of opening up their own salon or business down the road. You can start to imagine the different combinations of pathways that may be relevant for students. Another perk of the CCP program, aside from access to tuition-free college coursework and job training, is the option to have dual credit allowance. What this policy dictates is which community college courses can be taken to also allow credit for high school graduation requirements. There are 2 main parts to the dual credit allowance policy. The first is that any course taken at Cape Fear Community College that is 3 credits or higher will count as a high school elective credit. From my perspective, this is also an awesome perk of the program. Even if students are unsure of their academic and career goals, they can take advantage of dual enrollment as an exploration tool while getting high school elective credits. The second part of the dual credit allowance policy dictates which community college courses can be taken to satisfy core high school graduation requirements. For example, students can take a college transfer level math course in a college transfer pathway to count as their Math 4 high school graduation credit. As another example, students can take American History 1 and 2 at the community college in order to satisfy their high school American History requirement. The high school counselors and the community college career coaches are familiar with this policy and can assist you with understanding which community college courses can count for which high school credits. Additionally, we also have this policy linked on this slideshow. I'd like to share some more information about dual enrollment program costs. As I mentioned earlier, the state waives tuition for these courses, but but students are responsible for all course fees and textbooks. Students are billed fees per credit hour, and I'm going to show you an example of what that could look like. Let's say a student takes 2 3-credit courses in a college transfer pathway. They would be enrolled in 6 credit hours for that semester. As you can see on this chart, the tuition of $456 is waived, but the student would be subject to the fees: $35 for student activities, $40 for parking and security, and $18 for technology. In addition to the fees, students are also responsible for the textbook costs, and those can range from $0 up to sometimes $300 depending on the course. Some programs also have program-specific fees, such as a knife set for the culinary pathway, a toolkit for the cosmetology pathway, steel-toed boots for the welding pathway, etc. There are a few scholarship opportunities for CCP students through CFCC's foundation, and they can apply to these scholarships to help them with the costs of fees and textbooks. Aside from fees and textbooks, students may also incur transportation costs depending on which format course they're hoping to take. In dual enrollment, students can opt to take classes in any format, meaning at any of our campuses or online. Do note, though, that some programs offer only courses in person and some offer only online, and we can guide a student through that if it's going to impact their pathway preference. I've given you a lot of program information so far. Now I'd like to transition into some information regarding the college experience in this program and what's going to be different compared to high school. CCP is not an extension of high school. This is real college with real college rigor and college policies, and it may be more strict than what you've been used to in your K-12 education. Deadlines are firm, instructors are often not checking in with students, the syllabus lays everything out from the beginning of the term, and everything's through your CFCC email. I'd encourage you to think about CCP as an amazing transitory opportunity that allows you to have a genuine experience in college while still having some support systems in place, such as your family, your high school counselor, and your career coach at the college. Another example of the difference between high school and college is going to be the self-registration process. We allow students to self-register for their courses when registration becomes open. This is going to feel like a huge change from high school. This is another example of getting the true college experience with self-registration while still having extra support with college staff, reviewing those course selections, and verifying that it makes sense for the student. We do eventually cut off students' registration access so that we can abide by pathway compliance regulation and confirm that all students are registering for classes in their pathways. Also, on the topic of college expectations, I want to review the grading scale with you, as well as some exciting upcoming changes. The left-hand column is showing you Cape Fear's current grading scale as of the spring 2024 semester, and you'll notice we're on an 8-point scale. Moving into the fall 2024 semester, we're excited to share that Cape Fear is moving to a 10-point grading scale, and this aligns with most local high schools, so this is an exciting change for our dually enrolled students. The column on the right here is showing you the grade that will be reported for the college course on the high school transcript. The reason for this is, again, due to a difference between high school and college grades. In college, you will only receive a letter grade. So despite getting a final grade of, let's say, a 94, what happens is that then gets reported on your college transcript as an A. The college then shares that grade with your high school, but because high school awards number grades, they have to list it as a number on your high school transcript. That's what this column is showing you on the right. I want to share a bit about academic and athletic eligibility regarding the CCP program. I'm going to start with academic eligibility. We want you to know that despite taking these courses during high school, they are still real college courses that go on your permanent academic record. There have been instances where students fail and or withdraw from their courses in dual enrollment, and this often can make them ineligible for financial aid once they graduate from high school. The reason for this is that college courses will impact your course completion rate, which is something that is reviewed when determining your financial aid eligibility. Now, if you are a student athlete in high school, we've also had instances where a CCP student did not take their community college coursework seriously, and their poor grades in these courses made them ineligible to play their high school sport. And as you can imagine, this has a slew of ramifications, such as not being seen by an athletic recruiter, not receiving an athletic scholarship, having an athletic scholarship revoked, etc. And we do not want that to happen to you. For those of you who are athletes, please make sure you are in constant communication with your athletic director so that you know you are meeting the eligibility requirements for your team. I'm going to transition now and share a bit about a policy that's often not parents' favorite part to hear, but it is a federal law that we have to follow. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA, states that upon enrolling in higher education, regardless of a child's age or dependency status, all educational rights are transferred from the parent and solely to the student. What this means is that we cannot communicate with parents freely about a student's educational record because they no longer retain those rights to their student's educational records. Now, a student can sign a form that gives us permission to share educational records, and we encourage students to do this. But this policy does emphasize college readiness in the student. It emphasizes self-advocacy, proactive communication, and a different level of independence than what they may be used to with their high school coursework. If a student does opt to sign a FERPA release form, this does allow authorized persons to have access to view a student's academic records. For example, this could mean viewing a transcript or learning about a final grade or learning which pathway they are enrolled in. However, these forms do not allow parents to change anything about a student's educational record, meaning that regardless of having a FERPA form on file, a parent can never make schedule requests, register for courses for students, or really do anything to operate behind the scenes to enroll a student in courses, withdraw a student from courses, or make any changes otherwise. Now, as a continuation of FERPA and these differences between high school and college, we also want to touch briefly on the acceptable use policy. This policy states that you're expected to keep your CFCC login information private, meaning students cannot share their username and password with parents, family, friends, or anyone else they may be interested in sharing that with. One of the reasons the college takes this seriously is because of plagiarism. If a parent has access to a student's email, they're also going to have access to their online portal, meaning they're able to access students' homework, quizzes, tests, and as you can imagine, this poses an opportunity for plagiarism, hence the policy. Now, the CCP program is a great opportunity for students to acclimate to college and also for parents to acclimate and help their child transition into these expectations. We understand that this is a big change and that you've had access to everything up until this point as parents. We can imagine how tough and nerve-wracking this can be. How will you know your students being supported? How will you know they're being successful? So we'd like to share a bit about the extra layers of student support that we have in place for our dually enrolled students. The college has a system called grade alerts. Grade alerts are sent out regularly throughout the semester to students and high school counselors, and these refer to students who are failing a course or at risk of failing a course. These students receive regular reminders of available resources at the college, such as academic advising, free tutoring, counseling services, along with reminders about withdrawal dates if they need to withdraw from a course. Now, even though we cannot send grade alerts directly to parents due to FERPA guidelines, we can send these alerts to high school counselors who can then notify parents because high school counselors are not held to FERPA law like college staff are. A big part of grade alerts allows the career coach to also check in individually with the student, encourage a meeting, talk about success strategies, and talk about what's working and not working for the student. You can also see a list of college resources listed here. I want to emphasize that our dually enrolled students are full college students, just like everyone else at the college. So they have access to any resource at the college that anyone else would. And I've just listed a few here that I'd like to point out. Our Student Accessibility Services office is the office that takes care of any accommodations that are being requested by a student. If a student has a 504 or IEP in high school, please note that these plans do not transfer automatically to college, and a student would have to request those accommodations with our SAS office. We also have our Learning Lab, which is the name of our tutoring center, and they offer free, unlimited tutoring in a variety of subjects. For students who maybe don't have access to transportation to get to campus or aren't available during those hours, we also have Thinking Storm, which is free online tutoring available 24/7. We also have an honors program at the college. And this is a great option for students in our college transfer pathways who also have a GPA of 3.5 or higher. Being in the honors program would give them access not only to honors level courses, but also to a cohort-based program. Being in the honors program gives students access to honors level courses that can allow them to graduate with honors from CFCC or transfer to an honors program at any of the North Carolina universities for students who maybe want to graduate with honors at one of the universities. We also have a Nixon Leader Center at the college. Nixon Leader Center houses our Diversity Success Coordinator and our Latino Outreach Coordinator. Our Nixon Leader Center supports students of color at CFCC and also programs events pertaining to diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are just a few resources to give you a snapshot of what students have access to. They can attend any events, be in any club, and access any resources like our traditional college students. In summary, I've shared a lot about the CCP program and a lot of its perks. There's free tuition, a jumpstart on your college degree and/or your career, a lot of student support, and a vast list of options to meet a lot of different students' interests and needs. We hope you'll consider the CCP dual enrollment program, or we hope that you'll reach out to us if you have more questions about figuring out if it's a good fit for you. Thanks for listening in, and feel free to scan to request a copy of this presentation if you'd like to access some of the hyperlinks included.